Self-improvement tip number 1. Always remember that the temptation to give up is strongest right before you're about to succeed, right before you're about to make a breakthrough. Self-improvement tip number 4. It was Carl Jung who said, whatever you resist will persist. And I think what he meant by that was, the more you resist anything in life, especially fears, the more you bring it to you and the bigger it gets. Self-improvement tip number 5. Jim Rohn, the mentor of Tony Robbins, once said, formal education will make you a living, but self-education will make you a fortune. Self-improvement tip number 6. Warren Buffett, arguably the greatest investor of all time, once said, the more you learn, the more you earn. But here's the catch. You should learn something that increases your earning potential rather than just exchanging time for money, because then you're just a slave. Self-improvement tip number 8. Most people don't start because they're worried they'll waste time going in the wrong direction. And the people who do start realize how much of a waste of time worrying was. Self-improvement tip number 9. Somebody once said, success is never owned, it's rented, and the rent is due every single day. So pay the price today so you can pay any price tomorrow. Self-improvement tip number 10. The rule of thumb in life is this: the harder you work, the easier it gets, and the luckier you become. Self-improvement tip number 13. Earl Nightingale had a secret for getting rich, and it goes, our rewards in life will always be in exact proportion to our contribution, our service. Self-improvement tip number 14. Believe it or not, the day we are born is the day we start dying. So hurry up and get shit done, the clock is ticking. Self-improvement tip number 15. What's the best definition of life? Here it is. Life is not just the passing of time. Life is a collection of experiences, their frequency and their intensity. Self-improvement tip number 18. Never forget that the quality of your life will largely depend on how you spend your most valuable asset, your time. Self-improvement tip number 19. There's a reason why they say the average person dies at age 25 but is buried at 75. It's because at 25 is usually when we give up on our hopes and dreams. It's sad, but it's true. Self-improvement tip number 20. How you make your bed is how you lie on it, meaning you must accept the consequences of your actions. And it also means you better make sure you make your bed really fucking nice. Otherwise, you know what. Self-improvement tip number 21. Time is money and money is time. Meaning, if you have time, you can make money. And if you can make money, you can have more time. Self-improvement tip number 22. If you want to be successful, remember this and remember this well. Success is something you attract by the person you become. Self-improvement tip number 23. If you're serious about success, you have to give up the short-term comfort for the long-term win. Self-improvement tip number 24. When you're going after the life you want to make your why so big that your how becomes easy. Self-improvement tip number 2. Use the weekends to build the life you want, not to escape the life you have. Never forget, invest your weekends, don't spend them. Self-improvement tip number 3. The problem with most people is not that they aim too high in life and miss. It's that they aim too low and hit. Self-improvement tip number 11. This one's a wealth creation tip from Jim Rohn. It goes, find a way to serve the many. Now go find one. Self-improvement tip number 12. All the millionaires, all the billionaires, celebrities, actors, actresses, athletes, musicians, they all get paid for bringing value to the marketplace. They don't get paid for time, they get paid for the value. Self-improvement tip number 17, the most underrated piece of advice. Understand the importance of creating good habits and setting big goals. Self-improvement tip number 26, if you make ordinary decisions, you live an ordinary life. But if you make extraordinary decisions, guess what? You live an extraordinary life. Self-improvement tip number 7. In order to become the best version of yourself, you need to move away from your hometown. It's scary at first, but you can't become the best version of yourself if you're living in an environment that you're trying to outgrow. Self-improvement tip number 16. There's an old Zig Ziglar quote that goes, if you help enough people get what they want, you can have everything you want. Now, I don't know if you can have everything you want, but I like to believe that you can have anything you want if you help enough people get what they want. Self-improvement tip number 25. Did you know that the way we see things, or the way we perceive things rather, is the source of the way we think and the way we act? The point is, be mindful of what you consume online, especially the negative stuff.